Let's talk John Eustace then, who could be the potential new man at Derby County. The report comes from John Percy of The Telegraph, who says that Derby County and Blackburn Rovers are both preparing approaches for John Eustace. Obviously, Blackburn Rovers preparing for the approach, whereas Derby County are preparing to set the approach. And it's going to be a very, very interesting situation. If we do look at the league table, you'll see that Blackburn Rovers are sitting in those playoff positions. I think they're sitting in 6th place right now with 45 points in 31 games. They do have a game this morning as I'm recording this video, so whether it has been announced or dealt with as I'm recording this video, as you're watching this video, I'm not entirely sure, but as of right now it has not been done. And he's got them 13 wins, 6 draws and 12 defeats after a lot of people, including myself, tips them to go down this year due to their problems within the season, in the transfer window. Obviously now it's not been a great run for them. A couple of defeats and a couple of wins in there. It's a little bit difficult for him, but it's one of those where he's got some really good players in this Blackburn Rovers side that he's managing at the moment, and especially in that midfield area. You look at the likes of Lewis Travis, you look at Todd Cantwell, some really, really good players in there. And then obviously you go to the forward line, Emmanuel Dennis they've just bought in, Vyman, Corley Woodrow, Tyrese Dolan, some really, really good players. Now, if we do look at their previous game versus QPR, they do set up in a 4-2-3-1 setup, which is fairly decent. Now, it's one of those for me where I think Derby County always perform better in a back four. So if he does go on to play that system, I would not be complaining. Now, obviously, if we look at his career as a whole, started off at Kidderminister Harriers, averaging 1.8 points per game, 58 wins, 22 draws and 26 losses. Then went to QPR, where he only managed a handful of games, 2 wins, 1 draw, 4 defeats. And then obviously on to Birmingham City, 21 wins, 15 draws and 27 defeats, 1.2 points a game. But you have to remember, he was removed from his position when they were sitting, I think it was 5th in the division in that 2023 season, to be replaced by Wayne Rooney. And then obviously at current moment, 37% win percentage, 1.4 points per game, 19 wins, 14 draws and 19 defeats at Blackburn Rovers. This season has obviously been very, very incredible. And it's going to be interesting to see what John Eustace can do. Obviously, has previous with Derby County. He spent a short period of his career with Derby County from, I think he was here in 2009, where I believe he made about 10 appearances. And then as well in 2013 to 2015, where he made about 50 to 60 appearances, scoring a couple of goals, but was a really important part of that midfield with Steve McLaren at the helm at the time. And it's one of those for me where the only reason why I'm even sort of like buying into this rumour is because of that link with Derby County and the discussion around John Eustace having a few issues with the board at Blackburn Rovers based on the transfer window. Now, obviously, we can all expect different things, and we can all sort of look at what's going on at other clubs and sort of guess what could happen. But it's one of those for me where I'm not entirely sure how this deal can get done. Obviously, we are going to have to pay some sort of compensation to bring him in, I believe, and that's a big question. How much is that compensation going to be? What is the compensation going to be? Or will he decide to walk from Blackburn in order to make the deal simple? Now, obviously, if we do sort of scroll through and look at what people are saying on Twitter, there's also discussions around, obviously, Lee Carsley, England under-21 manager. A big sort of talking point around that is, will he potentially come to Derby County? Now, I'm not entirely sure. There's big questions to ask with who this next manager is going to be. Obviously, the main talking point at the moment is John Eustace, and I think he would be an excellent signing for the club, but we don't exactly know. And there is a Blackburn fan who did comment on one of my tweets yesterday, sort of saying that he doesn't believe that he would leave, but we'll obviously have to wait and see what goes on with that. And we are waiting for some announcement from either the club or from Blackburn Rovers to sort of say that he's coming or he's not coming. And in my opinion, we probably won't really see that till tomorrow. Now, there's big talks around obviously that Eustace deal. I think it would be an amazing one. I do think that he would be able to rejuvenate this squad, and what we really need is we need someone in for Tuesday, because on Tuesday night we face, they're not really a relegation rival anymore in Oxford, but it's one of those teams that if we get 3 points against them, we can drag them right back into that fight, because we then go 6 points away from them if we get a victory versus them, and that would be massive. And obviously you can't really give too much for obviously Gary Rowett at Oxford United. They've lost, I think it was 2 games since he took over, one versus Burnley and one in the Cup versus Exeter, where they played a heavily rotated side. But other than that, it's all wins and draws, and they obviously are going to come after not playing in a week, which is going to be very interesting, because obviously they're going to have more rest than we are. It's going to be interesting to see if they'll be able to sort of even prepare for Derby County, really, because with Paul Ward not being the manager anymore, it's really difficult to look at how this system may line up for Derby County that night. And if it's John Eustace who comes in, you can sort of expect a 4-2-3-1. If it's anybody else, who actually knows? There's big discussions. It always looks like a 4-2-3-1 for John Eustace at Blackburn Rovers, but obviously he has brought in some players at Blackburn over the course of this January window. You look at the likes of Corley Woodrow, Emmanuel Dennis, they brought in Ribeiro, who I think came in from Braga, and then you've got Cogbo, who came in from Cessna, the striker, and then obviously you've got Adam Forshaw, Dion Sanderson from Birmingham. So there is a fair few players they've brought in, but obviously they have had to let a few players go as well, the likes of Dylan Marchiondi and players like that. Were they really having an impact? Probably not, but it's one of those for me. I really do believe that John Eustace could really turn around the situation at Derby County. I do think he can. You look at what he did at Blackburn Rovers last season, and I do think he could do that again. If we can we go back and look at Blackburn Rovers last season, managed, what was that, 17 games, 4 wins, 8 draws, 5 defeats, and kept them in the division, finishing 19th in the league. And it will be interesting to see what Eustace can do. I think he's a brilliant manager, and I do think there's an opportunity for him at Derby County to come and really build a legacy. A lot of the fans wanted Eustace when we got rid of Rossignol, but obviously pretty quickly it came on to be that it was going to be Paul Warne, and a lot of people have called for Eustace on numerous occasions since Paul Warne has been in charge. Now, it is going to be interesting to see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see how any new potential manager is going to set up with Derby County, is going to look at those youngsters within the squad as well. You look at the likes of Jake Rooney, obviously Dejan Brown out till the summer, someone who's not really going to get a chance. But then you look down at the likes of Cruz Allen, Noah McAndrew, Lennon Wilden, Dan Cox, who all could potentially be in and around that team. Freddie Turley as well. It is going to be interesting to see what does end up happening with Derby County. Now, obviously, as I'm recording this video, no official news has been dropped. We are waiting to see and get some real talking points from that. And if we do get them, really, if we get them tonight, then I'll add them into this video. If we don't, then this is going to be the end of this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts on the potential arrival of John Eustace. I think it could be a very, very good one, and I'll catch you in my next video.